Hi, this is Felbert again, and welcome to Nevertheless Montessori. So, as I said, Nevertheless Montessori is a project that was pulled out from a small college who wanted me to do a working curriculum with the K-12 focusing on the arts because they wanted the curriculum to be in conformity with their mission and vision. So the fact that uh, I graduated from an authentic Montessori school, it's OB Montessori with, of course, professional education and made me a teacher. So I'm kind of, you know, I have like immediate obsession of the Montessori system of education. So that withstanding also my prior undergraduate education with La Salle Zanes as BS accountancy. So there, Nevertheless Montessori is supposed to be a cooperative open education for commerce and the arts. So when I pulled it from the small college, I told myself that when there's an opportunity, I can do that. So I guess, well, I'll just put up my laboratory school, which I call obviously Nevertheless Montessori. So it's about finding joy. So there, one of the activities of Nevertheless Montessori is Oasis for Talents and Vulnerabilities. So that involves SPED and academics tutoring and, well, personality development and, well, a little of, acting on instincts workshop as a facilitator. Okay, and the other one is Sanctuary for the Sampled. These are two crucial revenue stream or activities that are really important so that the project can turn around. Okay, so well, I've been doing Oasis for Talents and Vulnerabilities. I've been tutoring for quite a while now, so I kind of like did that kind of activity. And well, Sanctuary for the Sample is supposed to be a thrust towards helping people with mental health issues. But when I applied with Securities and Exchange Commission, it was, well, not approved. So my brilliant lawyer friend told me that most probably it was not approved because you're not yet in the capacity to handle the working activity, which is Sanctuary for the Sample, because I know myself and that as a work in progress, I'm still into this healing process. Okay, knowing that my bipolar disorder is caused probably, or I'm sure of it, is caused by childhood trauma that government is articulating that the childhood trauma is psychological in nature and it embeds in the nervous system. So when you get triggered, it kind of like, what you call this? When there's a trigger, you can not promise that you can take care of yourself. as normal as the others. Okay? So that's all. Welcome to Nevertheless Montessori. So I guess I have, well, with my prior talks and I have talked about Montessori. So, but I have to, well, delve into it again, a little of it, so that you can actually identify, or you can see a peculiar, uh, what you call this, strength of the Montessori system of education against, well, the traditional one. So I'll do an illustration here. I have so many colorful pens here and bond papers. So I'll do a sort of illustration, so bear with me. So, like what I said, I graduated BS Accountancy in 1985 at LaSalle Zamis. So, although it's a LaSalle school, I know, but it's still a traditional form of education that they're employing, you know. So, it's always the teacher towards the student. Okay, so this is it. The traditional system of education. Traditional. So, as you can see here, in the traditional system of education, it looks like this. The teacher actually is a teacher, and you don't call him like a facilitator, but so in traditional schools, teacher imparts lessons to students. So students absorbs and listens to what the teacher is talking. So there. So absorption, it depends upon the student, and it's always the teacher that decides what to discuss. Sometimes, well, the student can always ask in a way. So that's the traditional system of education. Okay. So you can see here that, you know, the teacher has so much authority over a particular class. So that the students can ask questions, so on and so forth. Okay. So in the Montessori system of education, we have this. So unlike the traditional, which is an arrow, the teacher actually spoon feeds lessons to the students, and the students study them. And so in the Montessori system, it's like a triangle. So the student is above, or learner we call it. Here at the other side, we call this teacher facilitator. And here is prepared environment. So there. So the Montessori system of education follows strictly this method or this system. So the student is above the triangle, or we call it learner, and then the other side is the student, or what you call this? I know, teacher, which we call facilitator in the Montessori parlance, in prepared environment. So it may seem like prepared environment is so technical, but when we kind of associated or translate it to our parlance, our ordinary understanding of the words prepared and environment. Uh, it's well, whatever gadgets or equipment that are in a particular, well, in a particular situation, or maybe if it's in a class, whatever materials that there are quote are what we call constituting the prepared environment. Okay, so since we do nevertheless Montessori, and it's kind of like a practical approach to the Montessori system of education, so prepared environment is what we call the surroundings, the society. So the student, we call it learner, and teacher as facilitator. So in the Montessori system of education, the teacher is not actually teaching. So the teacher is facilitating a particular lesson or a particular activity, and the student learner will use whatever gadgets or equipment or any other things that are in the prepared environment. So it means that the learner or the student should manipulate the gadget or any other equipment for that matter to be able to, you know, get an understanding of it, and well, understand whatever the gadget or equipment or paraphernalia that are there, so that the learning process is arrived at. Okay, so it's always the students or the learner that will do the, the manipulation, and the teacher or the facilitator actually just facilitates. Okay, so well, I was I graduated professional education in Montessori, but I never did teach in the prep, kindergarten or prep or grade school or high school. I did teach at the Montessori College, so it's kind of different. So I don't particularly know elaborately or exhaustively about how Montessori works in or among the among kindergarten or prep students or pupils in grade school, high school for that matter. Okay, so but as far as my observation during my class in one of my subjects in my professional education is to observe students, especially in the prep, or we call it CAS, 0 to 3, 3 to 6 years old. Okay, so we observed that the classroom is not really a classroom. There's no blackboard in there or a whiteboard for that matter. It's all materials that are scattered strategically so that students can go and manipulate all the materials or work with them and learn from it. So there are two teachers. One is a teacher that observes, okay, and the teacher that documents every activity that each student or each pupil is undertaking. Okay, so all the materials, all Montessori materials are are made for a particular reason. Okay, and so however, if we translate to at present or in a situation that we're not in a classroom, for example, and we're adults. So in order to learn, like for example, if there's a gadget like a new cell phone for that matter, so it's there and you are the learner, for example. Okay, me as a teacher or facilitator, I want you to actually manipulate the gadget so that you will learn how to use it. Okay, without you actually manipulating or actually working on the gadget, you wouldn't know anything. Okay, that's the core of the Montessori system of education. So the prepared environment is very important so that the students, learners will learn exhaustively. Okay, so there. So I guess for those that watch a film, Sped Arts, you could see there in one of the scenes of the film that in a Montessori class where there are special children and normal kids, there were actually two teachers. One is documenting all the activities, and the other one is actually assisting the students to engage into a particular activity. Okay, so there. So it's, if you can compare it, the traditional system is different. So the teachers actually spoon feeds or feeds things to the student, and the student will learn from whatever the teacher is saying or imparting lessons. However, here in the Montessori system, the student or the learner usually makes use of whatever things that are in the prepared environment or in the society or in the surrounding so that he will learn. So in other words, if you translate it further, it's like experience is the best teacher. Okay, so without you doing something to the gadget, for example, or a particular equipment, you wouldn't learn anything. Okay, so it's understandably the teacher also would have supposedly known everything about the gadgets or working paraphernalia that are there situated in a particular location. Okay, so that the learner or the student that manipulates or works on the equipment and do not know how to do it, so the teacher can actually right the wrong from what the student is doing. Okay, so another one, the Montessori system of education says that normalization is achieved by work. So I'm just telling you snippets of what I know about the Montessori system of education. We have to remember that Maria Montessori was a medical doctor in psychiatry, and she started the Montessori system of education in her humble school for special children. Okay, so there. So we have to correct the misconception about Montessori that it's just it's an elitist school for kids and for the affluent. No, it's not like that. It's because the truth of the matter is it started in a slum area in Italy like 100 years ago. So, however, commodification of the Montessori system of education became rampant because there's no absolute what you call this patent or a regulating body that that supervises and monitors all Montessori schools in the Philippines or wherever in the world. So that's why Montessori schools are mushrooming wherever in the world. Here in the Philippines, you can see them wherever, like when you go to Bulacan or Cavite for that matter, there are a lot of Montessori schools. Okay, so one of the Montessori philosophy is the fruits of normalization. Okay, so here so this is sorry for my penmanship and my drawing, but this is the Montessori tree. Okay, we call it fruits of normalization. So you can see here that joy is in the bottom. So you're gonna hear concentration, love for work. Uh, okay, so here it says that normalization is achieved via work. Okay. Normalization is achieved via work. So there, at the bottom is joy. So you have like concentration, many other things that are illustrious in the Montessori for normalization. Okay, so when you can observe in authentic Montessori school, 3 to 6 years old, in a prep or casa for that matter, an authentic Montessori school has 2 teachers. The one is documenting all the activities of his her or pupils and students. Another one is actually overseeing the what the pupils or the learners are actually doing. Okay, you can see there that students, so they all have absolute freedom as to what to do, especially in their practical life activity. So they do pouring, they do all those practical life activities. Okay, the teacher doesn't actually facilitator. So you can see that there's no blackboard, there's no, but all the materials are scattered strategically so that the students can freely get them and use them and work on them. The teacher actually observes. So there. So when you say first normalization, and normalization is achieved by work, you consider, when even in 3 to 6 years old, only do they get practical life activities that they love to do. So if we translate it to my practical approach of the Montessori system, called nevertheless Montessori. So I can deduce that when you say normalization is achieved by work, it's the work that you have to do. Okay. So to achieve joy. Okay. So I am I can be likened to like a guinea pig. I graduated in 1995 basic concept from LaSalle School. But to be honest, it was just like a personal consumption. I always wanted to be a writer, so there's no way that I could go to journalism or a mass school or an institution. So I did take up nursing for my freshman year and then eventually be as accountant in LaSalle Examis. So, but what I really wanted to take up during that time was mass communication. That's what I wanted to do. And my classmates from high school, grade school even, until the ones in my classmates when I was nursing, accountancy, they could vouch that my strength is really into talking, writing probably, but I took up BS accountancy. So it was like a wrong decision to take it, but I didn't have a choice because I was sent to school by my Chinese uncle. So there. So you can see here, normalization is achieved by work. So translated to present situation, to it's a work that you love to do. So there are times that like for example, when I teach in wherever, like SDI for that matter, I always tell my students, like, do you really decide for this course? Because sometimes it's always the parents that decide for our courses, especially with the ones in the province. So like for example, if your mom or dad is a teacher for that matter, it's obvious or it's apparent that the sons and daughters would also take up to be teachers. Or if a parent is a doctor or a lawyer for that matter, so the parents always wanted to decide for you know, the courses of the students. It's not supposed to be like that. So the Montessori system of education defies that. Okay, so here, so so I have to discuss a little about the sensitive period in the Montessori parlance. Okay, so sensitive periods. I guess this is being discussed also in other in other institutions. I don't know, but we can deduce that 0 to 3 years old, 3 to 6, 6 to 12, 12 to 18, 18 above. Okay, so we can see here sensitive period. So 0 to 3 years old, we are taught that this is the absorbent mind and conscious. Okay, so all the activities when there's a human being or there's a learner 0 to 3 years old, he or the boy can actually grasp everything, but she cannot rationalize what it is all about. The mind is like a sponge, so it's an absorbent mind, unconscious. She just grasps everything. So that's why it's crucial. Okay, so it's crucial that the the inculcation here, I mean, the treatment of the student should be, very different from when you handle children above this age. Okay, because this is the crucial age when learners or pupils or little human beings absorb everything. Okay, now I can say that with Gabor Mate, who is a doctor in Canada, is articulating about childhood trauma. This is the crucial age. So he says that all the regularities and all addictive behaviors are emanating from dysfunctional childhood. So in this age, you should be taking care of your kids very, very affectionately and with utmost care. Okay, so next is 3 to 6 years old. This is when our kids are put to school. Okay, so we consider this absorbent mind conscious. Okay, so when your kids are schooled in a Montessori school, in a authentic Montessori school, you can see that the classroom is not really like a traditional classroom. There's no blackboard in there, but all the materials are there necessary for uh, the learning process. Okay, so the teacher is facilitating. Okay, all practical life activities are there, and the students or the kids will just go there into the activity that they're interested. Okay, so they are what we call absorbent mind conscious. They can rationalize already. Okay, so these are ages or age brackets that these are ages when the kids are asking everything that they see and and experience. Okay, so 6 to 12, this is grade school. Okay. We call this earth instinct. So when you say earth instinct, this is when the kids wanted to be belonged. Okay, so they kind of like have peers already. Okay, so it's crucial that you also know which kids do they get along with, and so on and so forth. Okay, so the dominant behavior here is early instinct. They wanted to be belong. They wanted to have playmates. So that's why it was crucial during the pandemic when lockdown was implemented, says the children could not go out, and you know, while adults have experienced some sort of mental impact or hardship and difficulty with um, as far as mental health is concerned, I think the kids are also vulnerable because 6 to 12 are supposed to be uh, kids that wanted to play and get along with friends, but they have been put to they have been not permitted to go out because of the lockdown. So I guess there's so much issue there also. So it's necessary that parents should allow their kids right now when pandemic is already over, that the kids should go to places and hang out with their friends. Okay, so 12 to 18, yeah, this is where economic independence. Okay, 12 to 18, this is like high school. Yeah, so this is when the kids or the students are wanting to be the persons that they wanted to become, become a doctor, for example, become a lawyer, or they're associating themselves to the activity that they wanted to become in the future. Okay, so here also they kind of like engage in activity that will generate income, because all they want from here is economic independence up to 18 and above. There, so yeah, you can deduce, or well, looking back into the K to 12, 16 is supposed to be the age where a student graduates from high school. Okay, so but because of the K to 12 program, the student can't finish senior high at 18 years old, and when you graduate from senior high, you are already given like sort of a diploma, so that you can get an employment if necessary. So and there in that senior high, you are already prepared to. That's why there are strands, ABM for the matter, or UMS or STEM. So that's you are particularly honed to the profession they want to take up after graduating senior high. So there, so 12 to 18, economic independence, and embarking on roles of you becoming in the future. Okay, so instituting the Montessori philosophy or the Montessori system of education, it's apparent that the child or the children have supposed to be absolute say over their choices, but sometimes the parents are hard on them, that they decide what their children want to take up. So that's why we can say that there are suicide, because instead of wanting to become, like for example, into arts, makeup artist for the mother, like what I said in my book, but the parents are both lawyers, for example, so they wanted the student to be a lawyer as well. So it's not respecting the choices of the children. And for such a long time, since time immemorial, this is happening in the provinces. Okay, so when you're aware of that, in the Montessori system of education, we just like fragile implication and orchestration that the student should always decide for whatever courses they want to take up. Okay, so there. What else? So Montessori. So remember that Maria Montessori was a medical doctor in psychiatry. Okay, so while she made use of her mind to institute things, um, she uses still her heart to implement her philosophy and her lessons. Okay, so there, that's very crucial. So like I could say I'm a guinea pig because I wanted to be a writer ever since, but I took up nursing and I took up accountancy for that matter, but I had to respect that. So I'm glad that after 10 years from college graduation, I became a writer slash filmmaker. So I found myself after 10 years. So there. So that's the basic Montessori tenets that I'm discussing to you so that you have an idea about what Montessori is all about. And I don't know, but um, I won't say that this is a better educational system than the others that are in the community, but it's also obvious that wherever in the world there's Montessori, and yeah, wherever in the world. And Maria Montessori did not. Her generosity was always available to everyone, so that every human being can experience Montessori. But there are others that actually do commodification of the Montessori system. That's why we can say, or that's why the common impression is Montessori is the one elitist school for the kids, but it's not true. Okay? So I'm not into kids prep, but I can handle them as well because I do tutoring. So when I do tutorials, so I kind of like imbibe or inject a little of Montessori. Okay. So what else? I might be wrong, but I hope I kind of like have a little discussion of the Montessori system of education. Okay, so I'm happy that I have two brilliant lawyer friends whose kids were sent to a Montessori prep school, two brilliant lawyer friends and brilliant architects. His daughter was sent to an authentic Montessori school also. So there, the fact that Montessori is available wherever in the world, so it's a reality that we have to accept that I think this is a good kind of Montessori, a good kind of what you call this system of education. Okay, so like what I said, the Montessori, since Maria Montessori hailed from Italy, so it started from there, and right now in UK, in Canada, and even in the US, all grade school, actually until high school, they're transitioning their public school system into Montessori. So I'm just as glad that they see the genius of the system of education. So there. What else? So as I go along, I'll be able to inject a little bit. So Montessori is about man makes himself. So when you see that your kids or your children are into something that they love to do not, as a parent, you have to respect their decision and do not decide for whatever courses or paths that they're gonna have. As parents, we have to respect them also, so that there would be no incident of like suicide. I know realities that the children or kids or sons and daughters of doctors and lawyers, that committed suicide because the parents wanted to be like lawyers or doctors as well. So it's not like that. Okay, so that's why with my, because I'm a bona fide LGBT and I don't have like my own children, so I made sure that all my nieces and nephews that you know that live with me could have a slice of Montessori. Okay, and my two kids from my heart, so I also inject Montessori to them as well. Okay, so there. So what else? Uh, so when you say man makes himself, it's always like the kind of education is like well blended. You have to engage into like face to face and also like laboratory. You try to make sure that whatever that you learn from the theory will work out. Okay, I'm not saying it's the best educational system there has been, but well, this is common knowledge, that the founders of Google actually credited their Montessori education to have helped them develop Google. Okay, what else? Well, I have to also say this because I'm so proud that I came from Old Montessori and it's where Lea Salonga graduated as well. So there I learned, it's common knowledge also within Sia Tutu that Lea Salonga graduated valedictorian in Old Montessori, so she was 16 years old. So she was 17 when she enrolled in Ateneo for pre-med. Okay, so and then well she has been doing showbiz works. She sings and do musical. As far as I know, when she was at OB, her immersions with musical arts spectacular, and I can deduce that deciding to be into the arts is such a triumph for her. We can say that she was 17 years old when she enrolled in Ateneo pre-med. She could have been a very brilliant medical doctor had she pursued medicine. Okay, so we it's also common knowledge that the Miss Saigon auditions toured the world actually, and I think the Philippines or Manila was the last country to have where audition was conducted, and Lea Salonga audition for Miss Saigon as well. And from then when the panel of the Miss Saigon production saw Lea Salonga, they immediately kind of like got impressed of her and got her to the very covetous role as Kim. Okay, so what I want to point out here is Lea Salonga would never be Lea Salonga. See, when after lesson on the audition for music, on the orbit of the audition stopped, and they had gotten lesson longer for that and sent to London. Okay, so since we know for a fact that lesson during that time was already a showbiz personality and was singing into musical arts, into we could deduce that she could pull it through, and true enough, she was 18 years old when she did the role of Kim for the Miss Saigon, and at 18 years old, I guess, she won Best Actress in London, in Olivier, and in Tony, also in in the US, in Broadway. Okay. Oh my God, there's no one so far that did that, and she was all 18 years old. She could never be the Lea Salonga that she is now, and she not pursued Miss Saigon. Yeah. So there. What else? There are so many other things that I want to discuss with what I learned from the Montessori system of education, but this is only a prelude to the core of it. Okay, so there. I hope I can be as effective as managing director of Montessori, because I wanted to pursue this and do podcasting for that. It's life is all about finding joy. So man makes himself. So it's like experience is the best teacher. See? So I can remember when I did teach at Montessori Filipino, when I had a student who told me that teach felbert, because I was handling practical math. He told me that, Teacher Felbert, please don't teach me XY, XY, a little of algebra. Please teach me how to become like my dad. So as he was special, he is special. He was diagnosed with autism. But true enough, he could not pull it through had I persevered teaching algebra for that matter. Okay, so there. Welcome to Nevertheless Montessori. This is Teacher Felbert, and I hope you guys are gonna subscribe to my channel, because towards this activity I'll be discussing how Montessori inspires my students, my nephews and nieces, and loved ones to become the persons that they are now. Okay, so thank you very much. I'll see you around.